Was Old Hive better? You know, like, I'm starting to think the same thing, too. People have been, debating this question a lot. And, it's kind of come up more recently that Old Hive was better and that everything back in the day was much better. But is that really true? Now, I have debated before that Treasure Wars, back in the day was much better than Bed Wars. And, what I'm thinking? Does that mean the entire Old Hive was better? Now, I was never actually around for Old Hive, and I have done enough research, and I know that, I know what Old Hive was like, mostly. But was it actually better? Oh my gosh, this kid's so sweaty. Yeah, okay, he's cooked. But anyways, continuing. Old Hive was definitely a completely different look, things were much different. Things looked different, pretty much entirely different. And so that there's a lot of factor to that. I think that changing the hub and all of that was a completely pivotal point for the Hive. Oh, this guy's annoying. I'll get out. Anyways, it was definitely a very pivotal point for the server. It changed a lot of things. Hive Arcade and removing Treasure Wars and things like that. Well, I mean, so one of the first things that I'll point out is that, you think about nostalgia. Nostalgia is, remembering the past and thinking that everything in the past was better and that how things were better a long time ago. And I mean, that is probably the main thing, is that people are really having cases of nostalgia and thinking that everything was better back in the day, and it probably may be. So that's why we're going to figure out today. So I think that maybe it was better, but we have to have there's obviously reasons for that. Now, back in the day, there was it was definitely not a very it wasn't a very modern looking thing. It was very, old looking, very old Minecraft style. It didn't look as sleek and modern as it did today. And that's probably one of the factors that's why you get some nostalgia, okay? And that's just how it is. We always long for things in the past. Alright, I've collected my thoughts a little bit, and now I think about it, and there are some things that are I kind of would enjoy from Old Hive, like Sky Wars Classic, Sky Wars Kits, Sky Royale, mostly Sky Wars games. I kind of miss old Sky Wars. I would have missed playing Treasure Wars. I would have loved the Hive Arcade with, all those old games. And, I would have loved those games if I was around for them. But I never was. I started playing Hive last year, okay? I've not been playing this game for very long. But yet, what kind of gets me thinking that it's just nostalgia is that I think, not even a year ago, the Hive was much, much better. And maybe that's just because I was, just getting started and I get nostalgia from, playing old Hive Bedwars and that how things felt better, and then, that the changes didn't feel the best, pushes me toward the idea that it's just, nostalgia and that, everything was better back in the olden days of Hive, back in 2020. But it's kind of interesting because I kind of am trying my best to understand why this is the case. What was so great about Old Hive anyway? Okay, really need to kill this person here. What? This isn't Pillars of Fortune. We're not bridging up, sir. No. What are you doing here? Anyways, we need to dive in and think about what was actually better. Now, what I think was better about Old Hive is that the game modes were better, in my opinion. Things were much different. I think Treasure Wars, I've discussed that before, that Treasure Wars might actually be a better game than Bed Wars. That's an idea. But you think about Hive Arcade and we had Nemo Slap and all those games and all that fun stuff. So that, of course, that's gonna give you some sort of sense of maybe that was better. Maybe those were the better times. Maybe that's when the games were better. And I wouldn't actually disagree, but there are factors that kind of lean me the other direction. And then there's the other factor of I think back in the day, Minecraft Bedrock was actually a way better game. I mean, not that, it was more simplistic, not old Minecraft was better, not that. No, I'm saying that, old Bedrock Edition felt a little bit better, and maybe that, maybe that just reminds you of those times. Maybe that's just it. But yeah, guys, please leave in the comments why you think Old Hive was better. I want your complete and honest opinion about it, because I really want to know what you guys think about Old Hive and if it was better or not. Oh my gosh. Come here. GG. Oh, okay. GG's. And then we can kind of lean into the idea that, you know, back in the day, Hive was just kind of starting. It started like 7 years ago, right? I think 7 or 8 years ago. So back in that time when Old Hive was still a thing, people like were starting to play the server. It was really exciting. And I think that's probably contributes to it too, is that it was way more exciting back in the day, and maybe that's why we think it's better. But maybe it's not. Maybe that's not it. But the evidence is kind of leaning towards that. So I'm not completely sure. But maybe it was also just the fact that, you know, older Hive was more simplistic, and, you know, things were easier and things felt more simpler to understand, and people weren't as good as the game. Maybe it felt less competitive, and maybe that's what people kind of like search for, is, you know, the lack of competitiveness is actually kind of a strong point. I feel like Orange Team really wants to kill me, so let me go get emeralds to cope with that. Oh, actually, no, they want to get emeralds, so let's stop them from doing that right now. Yeah, go away, sir. But, you know, think about Old Hive. We were all younger in Old Hive, and then, you know, you just kind of lean towards being younger because, you know, being younger was fun. You had less responsibility, and the game felt more special, you know. And then maybe it's also that, like, all of us are, like, YouTubers now. And, like, you know, that, like, being a YouTuber is just, like, hard work, and that, like, you know, and the game starts to feel less like a game and more like a job. And for me, this is completely just, like, work. Oh, gosh. No. Die, sir. Oh, come here. Please hit me. Oh, come on. Come on, Anthony. Oh, why did he do that? Okay. And I got a challenge complete. Let's go. Yeah, so what I think we're kind of leaning towards the idea that Old Hive was just, you know, things were different and we were all younger, and that causes, you know, nostalgia. So, you know, I kind of think it's that. But the reason I bring this up is because I really kind of want to hear what other people think about it, because I haven't heard a whole lot about it from other people saying, like, Old Hive was completely better. Maybe people just don't talk about it enough, and I feel like it should be talked about enough. Because if we really think Old Hive is better, what things should we do differently to make the modern Hive better, you know? We can learn from the past, and we can improve upon that. And I mean, like, did we have... I'm trying to think if we had, like, more games back in the day. I don't even really know. Okay. You wanna juke me out, or you wanna be a guy? Die, sir. GG's. But yeah, I was saying, we should definitely try to apply what we know from the past and put it in the future. And, you know, guys, make some community posts and stuff like that saying what your favorite Old Hive feature was. I'd like to know. I'm really interested to know what you guys think were better. And then we can piece together why the Old Hive was actually better. Okay, like, we need to do this. We need to raise awareness of this so we can kind of remember what the Old Hive was truly like and if it was better or not. Killed. Okay, is he gonna leave? Yep. Okay. I called it. And, you know, maybe it's just me, but now the new Hive has come around, it feels like everything's like a grind, you know, like, you gotta grind the game if you want to win. You gotta grind the whole thing. And, you know, that's not the greatest feeling in the world. And you know what? I think about it, and the sweats don't ruin the game. You know, they don't ruin the game. You know, there's always going to be sweats in games. I mean, that's just how it works. People just really enjoy playing the game. It's just probably back when Hive first came out, people weren't as good at the game as they are now. So it feels like the Hive's harder, and maybe that's a reason that we long for Old Hive, and that, like, everything was simple. People weren't insanely good at the game and didn't grind for 15 hours a day. Okay, GG's there, gas company. How is this kid so fast? Come here, Sonny. If you bought a jetpack, I'm gonna lose it. Okay, you didn't. You bought a diamond sword instead, so I get another free diamond sword. Thanks to you, sir. Thank you. Please leave the game. That would be great if you did that. But I want XP, so let me break your bed first. Oh, gosh, he's listening to me through the microphone. Holy cow. Yeah, but let me know what topic I should cover next. Because, like, I'm kind of low-key interested to see. But yeah, anyways, yeah, I'm really excited to get some community posts from you guys and see what you guys think. Okay, well, GG's, my man. Yeah, but make sure to subscribe. I do commentaries and things like this on my channel. Yeah, so make sure to drop a like and sub and leave a comment on what you thought about the video. And yeah, it helps me out a ton. And just see you guys.